Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some NBA with thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, most of you guys have heard this already, so but I figured I'd do a video on it anyway. But if you haven't heard already, Kevin Garnett of the Minnesota Timberwolves has retired from the game of basketball. Now, this marks the third person of significance that's retired from the sport. We've had him, we had Kobe Bryant, and we had Tim Duncan. So you have two of the greatest power forwards of all time and one of the greatest shooting guards of all time all retiring in 1 year. You figure 4 or 5 years from now when they go in the Hall of Fame, that's going to be one hell of a ceremony. But with that being said, I wanted to camp out on Kevin Garnett because he's someone, honestly, if you look at Kevin Garnett in his younger days in Minnesota, I feel like when we talk about the power forward position, there were two guys that changed the way we look at the position. Obviously, as you guys have heard me speak on many occasions, if you've been following the channel, Dirk Nowitzki. I spent a lot of time around Dirk in Dallas, and he was somebody that I've always knew changed the position, but to see him practice and how he worked every day, I got a little different perspective on it. Dirk Nowitzki, with the way he shot the ball, with the way he was able to space the floor with the shooting at that size, we just hadn't seen anything like that before. And then when we look at KG at the time, he gets drafted in 1995. He was the first player drafted from high school to the NBA since Moses Malone. So the Timberwolves at the time really rolled the dice. And he was lanky. He had to go through a really rigorous process as far as putting on muscle, and he did over time like any other player does. And the way he changed the position was, we never really looked at power forwards as guys who should be, because if you guys remember in his earlier days, he was somebody who had, very good ball handling skills for the position, someone who could run the floor, things of that nature. Very few power forwards before KG had ball handling skills of a guard, and he kind of redefined the position in that way. We talk about his stint in Minnesota, what he means to that franchise. He is the Timberwolves, because the Timberwolves really haven't had a whole lot of success in their franchise history. But you look at the stretch where KG was the guy, and they had I believe he kind of had his little Tracy McGrady, kind of like Tracy McGrady. He had his hard time getting out of the first round. They got knocked out of the first round 6 years straight. Then they put together 58 wins, and they had Latrell Sprewell and Sam Cassell, and they finally get to the West Finals and he becomes the MVP of the league in 2003 or 4, and they lose to a Laker team that was a dynasty at that time. So we had a great career, I believe. Thank God, just like Dirk, who struggled, he was able to at least get a ring in his career, so he can get that ultimate validation of how great he was. Because how tragic would it have been if KG, of all people, one of the most intense competitors I've ever seen in any sport, didn't get a ring? That would have been one of the greatest tragedies in the history of sports. So at least he did that with the Celtics in 2008, and that was a great team as well. I think when you talk about that Celtics team, that 2008 Celtics team should be considered as one of the top 5 to 10 greatest teams that ever played the game of basketball. And yeah, man, KG's just been a great player, someone that I've enjoyed watching over the years. And outside of obviously guys in the Hornets like Kemba Walker, my favorite player that's not on the Hornets, other than Steph Curry, besides Kemba Walker and guys in the Hornets, Steph Curry, my favorite player in the NBA is someone who KG mentors a lot, who's gonna be leading a lot of what he learned throughout his time in the NBA. A lot of that knowledge, he's passing it on to Karl Anthony Towns, and I think Karl Anthony Towns will one day be the MVP of the NBA. So it's going to be interesting to see how Towns uses that information that KG gave him to develop his career. But KG, another great power forward. 3 of the best power forwards that I ever watched growing up, all retired this year. Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Amari Stoudemire. So it's like now the only one really playing is Dirk, and he'll be gone soon. So Brendan Taylor, True School Sports, congrats to KG on a great career. And I do believe, he will become the second. I think at some point he does become the second player owner in the NBA, and he does buy a portion of the Timberwolves, because that is something he's talked about. and I believe he's also made the most money of any player in the league as far as like their salary on the court. I believe it was somewhere upwards of like $330 million. So he made a great career for himself financially on the court. Just was a great all-around guy, and one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. So KG is definitely going to be missed, with basketball getting so soft and guys playing like a bunch of sissies. You know, it sucks that a guy like Garnett, who was just so tough and just so raw, in an era where being raw and unfiltered is kind of looked down upon on the court. It's going to suck that we're losing a guy like that in the NBA. So it is what it is, man. But let me know what you guys think about the career of Kevin Garnett. What are some of your favorite moments from him? Just anything regarding KG, leave it in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.